Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about virtual function in the language of C++. So virtual function can be a very powerful yet also very tricky concept. So in the next 5 minutes, we'll clear up a lot of confusion with regard to a virtual function. So before I even start talking, we should kind of understand what virtual function is. So simple definition is that a virtual function is a member function that is expected to be redefined in its derived class. But let's take even one step back. Why do we even need virtual function? What's the ambition behind it? So a simple answer again is subtype polymorphism. And I guess the easiest way to understand why is to actually go through an example. So consider a vehicle base class, a helicopter, and a drone subclass or derived class. Now to its right, there are partial implementation of the vehicle class and the drone class. As you can see, vehicle class has a specialty function, age function, and drone has overridden these two functions. So instead of saying I move, a drone is going to say I fly up, right? Drone flies up. And instead of saying, instead of printing I'm young, a drone is actually going to print I'm old. So now let's put all these implementation together in the main and see if we actually have the intended result. So now let's look back to here. We created a drone object in the main, and we create a vehicle pointer that points to this drone. So during compile time, this vehicle pointer is going to be treated as a vehicle, and during runtime, this vehicle pointer is going to be treated as a drone. And this separation between compile time and runtime is what allows polymorphism to work, right? So now let's see, when we call specialty and we call age by v, we intend to have I fly up and I'm old to be printed. However, I move and I'm young is printed instead. This is not what we want. And let's see why is this happening. So it turns out that the compiler actually determines which version of specialty and which version of age to print during compile time. And during compile time, V is not a drone, but a vehicle, which makes sense that the vehicle's version is being used. So how do we solve this question, this problem in general? I guess a good way is somehow if we have this magical power to tell the compiler to delay when to determine which version of specialty and age to choose during the runtime. Now that could be pretty hard, but this is when virtual function comes in. So now if we declare specialty and age as virtual, this actually allows what I just said to be true. So instead of using specialty and age of the vehicle, the compiler is actually going to wait till the runtime and call drone's version of specialty and age instead. So now instead of I move and I'm young, the compiler is actually going to call I fly up and I am old. And this is exactly what we intend to do. And virtual function allowed us to do this. So to recap of this mini lecture, what virtual function is? A virtual function is a member function that is expected to be redefined in its derived classes. And why do we even use virtual function is to allow subtype polymorphism to work. And to conclude this, I'm going to tell you one trick or one confusing part of virtual function that got me really confused is that virtuality of a function can actually be inherited. So specialty is a virtual function, which means the specialty inherited down here of the drone class is also a virtual function. So a good practice is actually write out virtual in the derived class also. So even though these are not necessary, but it actually creates a lot more clarity so you don't confuse yourself. Now I hope you enjoyed the virtual function lecture, and I hope that also cleared up a lot of confusions you had. Thank you.